Hi, guys. So today, you're going to work on two things. The first thing I want you to work on is if you didn't finish yesterday's assignment. So, to go back to yesterday, if you did not finish this assignment where you had to go to a podcast, you still have time and you still need to listen to the podcast and then answer some of the questions. It's going to be getting into some information about earthquakes, but that was yesterday's work. So please make sure you do that. The second thing that you're going to do today is you're going to start this ring of fire activity. Okay. So basically, um, what you're going to be doing today is a two-part activity, and we're going to be finishing it the next time I see you, okay? Which is during map testing. So, what I would recommend today is that you do like a fourth of it. You do just enough to kind of understand it and move on. You don't need to finish the whole activity. This is not all homework. We will be finishing it in class, and you'll have a whole period to do it, okay? So, what I would recommend that you just do a little bit of it, and I'll show you more of what I mean in a second. So let's take a look at this. It says Ring of Fire, Introduction. Earth's surface is made of tectonic plates that are constantly in motion, driven by convection currents in the mantle. This we've learned about, right? As plates move, they may pull apart, collide, or slide past each other. When this occurs, it leads to volcanoes and earthquakes. In fact, there is a very specific pattern that is formed by spots where earthquakes and volcanoes tend to occur. We call this the Ring of Fire. It's kind of cool to look just into that fire picture, isn't it? Roughly 90% of all earthquakes and 75% of all active volcanoes occur in this ring of fire. So what you're going to be doing today is graphing and plotting a little bit of where this is. And you're going to be using data from some of the most active and well-known earthquakes. Okay, so let's go to the second slide. Let's look at the directions. It says, the next page has a list of Earth's major earthquake and volcano locations. So if we look at the next page, we can clearly see earthquakes on the left here and where they occurred, the latitude and longitude where they occurred. So these are some of the most well-known earthquake spots. Okay. And then on the right is volcanoes. These are where some of those major spots are. Okay, let's go back. It says, so the second thing you're going to do, number 2, is label the continents and the U.S. in green font. So what you're going to do is go down to the map in 4, and you're going to create little boxes and label the continent. So let me show you an example. You're going to click on a text box. You're going to open it, insert it, and then you're going to put the name of the continent that's here. So the continent that's here is Asia. So I'm just going to type in Asia, and I've got it labeled. If I wanted to make a box around this, I could also go up here to where it says border weight, and I could click on 1px, which basically means I put a little a box around it, okay? But there's my continent there. Then I'm going to label this continent and this continent and this continent, okay? And the Pacific Ocean is already labeled. That's this whole thing that's right here, okay? So, and make sure that you follow the directions. So I got to turn it into green. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to go up here. Oops. Oh, wait, that's a fill color. Hold on. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go over here, and it's going to turn into green. Make it a dark green, okay? So there's my Asia, okay? And I'm going to do that with all the other continents. So that's step 2. Label the continents and the U.S. in green font. Okay, number 3, you're going to use the latitude and longitude. You're going to mark where each earthquake and volcano occurs. Drag the symbol over to the appropriate location on the map. And then in the end, once you're done with this map, and if you notice, you can see all these, you can see all these volcanoes and earthquakes, right, that are ready for you to go and just move over, okay? And then at the end, you're going to answer some questions related to the chart, okay? So here's what I recommend. I recommend doing maybe half the earthquakes today or half the volcanoes, kind of up to you. But just practice doing that. I'd label the continents. I do half the earthquakes or half the volcanoes today, and then leave the rest for class time, okay? Because you're going to have a whole nother class to work on this, so you do not need to finish it. All right, so let's go over an example of how to do this. So latitude and longitude is a little bit confusing, but basically you're kind of just playing like a game of Battleship. So if you've ever played Battleship before, you say E3, right? And you've got to find where the E and the 3 match up on a grid. So that's what we're going to do here. So each earthquake that exists is in this little section right here. So let me circle it for you with the scribble. Whoop. Here's the first one. And you might even want to cross them out as you finish them. So here's one. Here's another one right here. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 earthquakes and 18 volcanoes that you have to label. And if you notice, there are that many things to move over. Okay, so let's look at how to do the first one. The first one says the longitude is 120 degrees. That symbol means degrees. Degrees west, 40 degrees north. So I'm going to find where 120 west is. So I'm going to go to 120 west. I got it down here, and I have to be careful. 120 west. Okay, here's where 120 west is. And I'm doing an earthquake, so I'm going to bring this over. So first, I'm just going to put my spot on 120 somewhere, right? Here's 120 west. And then my other one is 40 north, so I have to bring it up to 40 north. If I look at this is the equator. The equator is 0 right along here. So I have to go 40 north. So I'm going to go exactly where those match. So 120 and 40 go is right there. There's my first earthquake. Okay, so one of the most popular spots for an earthquake is right here. That's in California in the US. Okay, and then I'd recommend maybe either like crossing it out or just keeping track of it somehow. You could even put a line or a scribble through it, right? A scribble you could go through and just make a line, right? And go whoop, like that and cross it out so they know you've done it. So now let's do one more example. Earthquakes again. Okay, so this one says the longitude is 125 degrees east. So I'm going to go to my map. I'm going to get an earthquake, and I'm going to bring it to 125 degrees east. Here's where I have to be careful. I have to go down. Here's 120. Here's 140. So I know I have to go this way, right? If I'm going to 125, it's got to be half. So 130. So 125 is going to be like right there, right? Now I've got to find where the next one goes. So the next one goes to 23 degrees north. So now I have to match that up, and I've got to find 23 degrees north. So here's the equator. This is north. This is south. And I'm going to go to 23 degrees north and match it up with what I have. So there's another really popular earthquake right there. Okay, so I just have to line them up carefully. And again, what I do is I pull the symbol over to where it matches with the bottom, and then find where it goes with the top and bottom, and just drag it to wherever it goes, okay? And I would recommend maybe doing about 10 of these today. Make sure you get the hang of it, okay? Again, tomorrow you're going to have time where you're going to be able to finish them. You're going to be able to do the volcanoes and answer the questions, and that's what we're going to work on in class, okay? So I recommend you do just about 10 of these. Maybe 10 to 15 if you wanted to. And then you should be all good. Just get the hang of it. Practice using latitude and longitude. Okay? All right, good luck. And remember, I'm on Zoom if you need any help.